Welcome to the Excelsior Health Podcast. This is the podcast for busy professionals and busy parents who are battling weight gain, high stress, and a drop of self-confidence. And what we do, guys, we take the complicated aspects of fitness and we give you guys easy, actionable items to create some momentum in your health and fitness journey. I'm your host, Coach Cory Fernandez. This is my co-host,
Coach Susie.
And today, guys, we have an amazing interview episode. It's another transformation story in our program at Training for Warriors. But it's really for anybody who, hey, are you a busy professional and you want some tactics on how to transform? Are you a busy parent? And how does transforming your health and getting into fitness influence your family life? But also, would you like to know how much health and fitness can help you from a doctor's point of view? One that actually lifts. So without further ado, our big guest for today, former student of the year, or current student of the year, basically right now at Training for Warriors, Dr. Nekessa Remy. Welcome to the podcast. She's used to being on live TV, so she made her appearance here. But Nekessa, could you give maybe like a 3-5-minute bio, like who are you and what do you do?
Okay, so yes, I am a doctor. I'm a chiropractor, but I'm also a mom and stepmom to three and a half, 27-year-old, I guess.
he's
still in there. Stepmom and stepmom. And as a chiropractor, I also own my own business. So I started my practice in 2018. And from there, we've built to become like a multidisciplinary clinic. So we've got physio, massage, naturopathy, psychotherapy, all the kind of health and wellness services under one roof. So that's kind of part of my job. And then the other part of my job is more as a speaker. So yes, I've had the opportunity to go on TV a couple times, which has been great. And I also do a lot of corporate workshops. And now I'm doing some of my own workshops in my clinic as well. So I guess everything I do stems from like my philosophy that like healthy living is a right, not a privilege. So whatever decision I make business-wise as a chiropractor or as a speaker, it has to stem from that philosophy. And I feel like the last 3 years, I've kind of taken that philosophy on now and I'm trying to practice what I preach, which is what brought me here.
Well, you definitely are. I could say that as your coach. We refer a lot of our clients to Nekessa because she's one of our clients. She knows the system, but also like she just said, she's practicing what she preaches, which it's hard to find a lot of doctors that actually do that aspect of it. But I do want to say, I think part of your amazing ability is your communication. And I think what you've kind of tapped into of presenting and workshops and online, I think that's like your gift. You're a great practitioner, but like on that end, I think you're meant to do that and you're going to continue to reach more people. But I guess from the lens of what you've been doing for the last, how long has it been? Over a decade?
As a chiropractor, 18 years.
18 years.
Yes, 18 years.
All right.
Yeah, I'm 45. Oh, gosh. Yeah.
There you go. She's 45. I didn't say it. I was going to say mid-30s.
I'm 45.
But she's proud. But basically what I would love to know is, we help a lot of the same clients. They're busy professionals. A lot of times they're in their 40s and 50s. What are some of the big pain points that are people that are coming to see you and like why? Like what's going on with them?
I think one is definitely knowing about recovery because I think this program, like once you get here and the people are just so amazing, the vibe is awesome. It's like you want to keep coming and you want to come maybe 2, 3, 4 days in a row. But when you're first starting, sometimes you might just have to space that out or you might have to take the time to like make sure that you're doing the things in between to support you when you're here. So that's like stretching, mobility work, especially as we get older, our joints don't move as freely as they used to. So I think just knowing about recovery and rest is really important. But also, too, a lot of people come see me now for prevention, right? So it's not like, hey, I was lifting and I hurt myself. I had someone a couple weeks ago who was just like, you know what, when I squat, I don't feel like I can go as low as I want to. Awesome. Let's look at that. Let's treat that. Let's get that better so that you don't get injured. And I think when people from here come to see me, a lot of the times, we'll fix them, but then we talk a lot about prevention because if they're like me, they want to keep lifting. They want to keep, doing the workouts and keep pushing themselves. So it's really important to kind of identify where you might have a weakness and treat that before it becomes an issue because I think that could be one reason why people aren't working out. It's painful.
What's the common issue that, like, not even just like people that come here, like a lot of the people you treat, what are the common issues that you see?
Everything, I shouldn't say everything, maybe 75% of what I see stems from the fact that people are sitting for like hours a day. I think the last stats were like the average Canadian sits for like just under 12 hours a day. And when you look at how much time we spend sleeping, that's like over half of our day we're sitting, right?
Should we just stand up right now?
Yeah, I know. Stand up and move.
Do this podcast standing up. I'm like,
Yeah, exactly. Just do some stretches while we're here. But yeah, a lot of it stems from that. So people are sitting, let's say, 8-10 hours a day, and then they're going to go right away to the gym. And I'm like, yes, going to the gym is important, but maybe just get there 5 minutes early, do your mobility, make sure you're there for the warm up. You guys put the warm up in the program for a reason. So be there for that. But yeah, that's a huge issue. It's just we're sitting so long and our bodies get comfortable in that kind of compressed position. Our joints are a certain way, our spine's a certain way. And then when we try to do things like on the weekend or after work, our body isn't ready to do that. So I think a lot of it just has to do with, we have to sit, I get it, but getting up during the day and then just, yeah, taking the time to work on your mobility like that. Like, I know we do it as part of our warm up, but hey, maybe you have to do that on your rest day. Like, just work on mobility, but you have to do certain things that are going to support you and make you successful here.
And one phrase that I've said before, like in content, I heard it, somebody say it, but sitting is the new smoking. Like, I remember growing up, so I'm 37 years old. Like, I remember in high school, middle school, everything was about stop smoking, stop smoking. Like, they had this big campaign. I don't think it's like that right now where people are like, stop sitting, but it needs to be like that, because this is one of the biggest problems is we work more than we ever have in our life. Everything is made to be easier. Cars drive us. We park in the parking lot as close as we can to where we're going. So people just don't move anymore. And even at home, we have to Uber things, right? Like, we barely cook. We have Netflix. We have things on our phone. So we are just not moving overall. So a lot of the problems that I see as a fitness professional, as Dr. Nekessa sees, is because we're just not moving. We're sitting too much. So I guess if you could be specific, they're sitting, but like what types of injuries or things are people going through?
So just to go back to the point of sitting, it's really important to understand too that genetically we're designed to be walking, right? Like, we're designed, to go hunt and gather our food. So the fact that we're sitting, and oftentimes we're sitting like in non-ergonomic equipment, it just means that what's happening is our spine is under compressive loads. So our spine has like these little cushions in between. The longer we sit, the more strain we put on those cushions, that they can actually become like deformed, deranged. And then you can get into things like herniated discs and stuff like that. Yeah, very
people come in here and say, I have a herniated disc, I'm scared to do this.
100%. So definitely disc herniations, bulges, any injury to the disc, I often see as a result of sitting. And then the other issue too is the lack of mobility in our upper backs. Because we're in this hunched kind of flexed position for long periods of time, and it changes our spine into like a C shape. Our spine is actually supposed to be an S, right? So now we're in the C shape and we lose the mobility in our upper back.
What is that from?
Just being in this position, literally. Yeah,
looking on the phone.
Exactly. So our upper back is supposed to be able to rotate. When I test this on people, I'm often amazed at how limited their rotation is. And then what happens is, because of that, when you're reaching in the cabinet to get a glass or you're putting a grocery away, you're like, oh, my shoulder hurts. And a lot of it has to do with the fact that you don't have mobility in your upper back. So you're actually starting to injure your shoulder. So rotator cuff injuries are huge. And a lot of it has to be, it's not like, oh, I was playing tennis or I was throwing a ball. It was like washing my hair, right? Just regular day-to-day stuff, because we don't have mobility in our upper back. So that is huge. Rotator cuff injuries and then disc and lower back injuries for sure are the top two things that I see.
Okay. So shoulders, a lot of back issues. Those are common things that busy professionals come in with the challenge of.
Yeah.
What's your philosophy with your business, with you as a practitioner, and like, what do you guys do to help these people?
So I think the first thing you have to do is you have to listen to the patient and kind of get a picture of how they got to this point first. Because it's great if we can make a patient feel better, but if they're going back to the same habits and routines, they're going to come back, right, with the same issues. So it's really important to understand like the mechanism of injury. So what is going on in your life that has caused this issue? Because a lot of times it's not like I fell or I was in an accident. It was like, I don't know, my shoulder's been feeling stiff or my back's been getting stiff for the last 3 weeks, 3 months, 3 years sometimes. And so it's like an accumulation of issues. So as a practitioner, sometimes you're like a detective, right? Like you gotta ask a lot of questions. You gotta ask a lot of questions to figure out how they got to where they are. So I think at our office, we spend a lot of time doing that. And in fact, there's a stat that says for chiropractors in particular, 80% of the time you can diagnose someone just based on what they tell you. So before you even touch them, 80% of the time you know what the diagnosis is if you ask the right questions. And it's true. So I think at our practice, we spend a lot of time asking questions. So that way, like I said, we can identify what may have caused it and then we can address it.
So hold on. Yeah. I don't just go in and fill out a survey and then you just crack my neck and then send me out the door?
No. a lot of times we get we actually email out the intake forms before they come in so we can have an idea of what they're presenting to us, right?
But I think that's a lot of like the perception of what visiting a chiro is, right?
Oh,
like
yeah.
Yeah, I see you. We spent
So
5 minutes
true.
together. It's crack. Okay,
So
I'll see
true.
you next week.
People come in with like YouTube videos and like, are you going to do this to me? I'm like, what the heck is that? I'm not doing that to you.
That would be Cory.
My patients send me YouTube videos all the time. But no, like the hour that we're there for the first time, 50% is just talking as I really got to figure out what's going on. And the cracking or the adjustments, like my treatments are divided into 4 parts. The first thing we do is we look at like muscles, like how are we getting circulation to the muscles? What's happening with the muscles? We address that. If there are any circulatory issues, swelling, things like that, then we address that. Then if there's any joint issues, then we talk about joint issues. And if we need to do adjustments, we do that. And the last part is homework. You're not leaving without some type of rehabilitative exercise that you need to do because that ultimately is what's going to keep you pain-free. I always tell patients, like, my job is to get you over this hurdle, but I can't keep you pain-free forever. Like, I can't. What is going to keep you pain-free is if you have the strength, the mobility, or we're addressing issues that have led up to this. Like, that's what's going to keep you pain-free. So it's not just come in, crack, and go. Muscles, joints, circulation, and always, always, always homework. There's some stretch you need to do.
Yeah,
after.
I think that's the good sign of a doctor or a physiotherapist, a chiro, whatever it is. It's like, don't just come to me and I'm going to just make everything perfect for you. Is you're empowering them to take action. And for those of you guys like that, maybe you are going through some sort of shoulder pain or back pain, you have to take ownership of your health. Your fitness coach is not going to be your savior and like make the masterpiece workout and then they're with you and then all of a sudden you're stronger. Like, yes, we're going to help you, but same thing when you go to see a physio or a chiropractor, they're going to talk to you, they're going to prescribe, they're going to give you things to do, but you have to do the work on your own afterwards to make it a long-lasting change, or literally they're always back through the door with the same issue.
Exactly. I mean, money-wise, that's great. People are always getting hurt. But at the end of the day, I got into this because, again, I believe that healthy living is a right. And I want to teach you, I want to educate you so that you can feel like your own health advocate, right? Like you're saying, you need to feel empowered when it comes to your own health because you're not going to hit the goals that you want to hit health-wise if you don't feel empowered enough to do that. So my job is to take the education, take the research, all that stuff, break it down into pieces that you understand, which is kind of like what you guys do here. You break it down into pieces that we can understand, and then we have to implement it, right, into our own life. And that's what I try to do for...
What's the name of your...
Yes, thank you. The Chiropractic Office and Health Associates.
So where is it?
We are in Mississauga in the Erin Mills area.
So for example, like just to give everybody an understanding. So let's say I am beat up right now. Most of the time, and maybe you can correct me if I'm wrong, it's usually not some dramatic situation that happens while you're in pain. It's the way you live life. It's always at your desk. It's the lack of walking that we talked about. It's your neck is down like this. That's what leads to the chronic pain. Yes, once in a while, an accident happens, whether it's in the gym or it's just falling on ice, whatever it is. But let's say right now I am someone who is in pain. How do you guys deal with that person? Like, Is there a certain amount of visits that they might see you in a certain amount of time? And then also on the other side, I'm someone who I'm healthy, I'm fit, I train a lot, but I want to be proactive, like you said. How
Yeah.
do you maybe deal with that person?
So an acute patient or somebody that comes in like severe pain, it's hard to say specifically how many visits they need because it really does depend on the extent of the injury. But usually when you are in pain, you're going to have a few treatments fairly close together, especially if there's like inflammation and stuff like that. Like you need to kind of treat it a few times for it to go. But if you're at a chiropractor or physiotherapist that says like this is old school kind of chiropractic where they're like, okay, you're going to come in 3 times a week for 4 months, 2 times a week for 6 months. If they're telling you need that much treatment, then there's something wrong with them. If it's taking them like a year to get you feeling better, that's a problem, right? So with my acute patients or patients that are in severe pain, yes, for the first 2, 3, maybe 4 weeks, you're coming in a little bit more regularly. But the goal is to get you to the point where you don't need to come in as often, right? So if it's somebody, that has back pain, they feel a little back pain, you know what? I can do the stretches that Dr. Remy gave me. I can do that. And that might help with the pain. And that's good. Like that's where I want to get my patients. Now, when we're talking about prevention, a lot of my patients, I try to get them to come in maybe every 6 weeks or so. And you don't have to be in pain to come in because it's preventative, right? Because like I said, someone came to see me just because they wanted to get lower in their squats, right? Like they're not in pain, but they notice, I think I can do more. My body's telling me that, something's a little restricted. Then absolutely we can deal with that because honestly, prevention is the key to like, not getting in pain, right? So yeah, every 6 or so weeks, whether it's physio, chiro, massage, I do recommend that. Sometimes maybe once a month, depending on how active you are. But yeah, every 4 to 6 weeks is usually pretty good recommendation.
I have a question. Even besides, you mentioned chronic pain a lot from sitting. Does patients ever come see you from chronic pain from being overweight just by what they eat?
You know what? Like what you eat is huge, right? Like, and because I've been in this program now, I've learned a lot more about nutrition. Like even what you eat, like there's certain foods that can like increase inflammation in your body, right? So there are foods that, yeah, can trigger inflammation. And if you're somebody who might be overweight, if you're somebody whose immune system isn't working well, those foods are going to have a huger impact on you. So there are people, and this is often very difficult when you're in conversation because you know that a lot of their like joint pain is because there's just so much weight on their joints, right? So it's a conversation where you have to talk about physical activity and say, you have to start walking because you can see me every day for weeks. I'm not going to get you 100%. You have to get moving. And I'm lucky enough where I have like a naturopath, I have a physiotherapist. So if they want more specific information on nutrition or even like rehabilitative exercises that they can do, I can refer to them. Like we try to work as a team, right? But yeah, we do unfortunately get a lot of people that come in with like arthritis and things like that just because their joints are under so much pressure from being overweight.
Yeah, and this is one point I want everyone to understand is like you want to eat healthier, you want to work out, you want to listen to this podcast for tips. Of course, you want to lose fat. Like we all want to be more confident and things like that and have more definition. But a lot of what we're talking about today is like pain prevention, live a better quality of life. So it's like all these things are meant for that. You don't want to stop being great at your career. You don't want to be able to be slowed down when you're doing things with your kids. You don't want to go on vacation and your arthritis and your back pain stops you from going on that amazing hike and seeing the beautiful sunset. So that's a big thing of transforming your health and regaining control. It's living life pain-free to the best of your ability. And, a lot of what we talk about is these 5 pillars of Excelsior Health, right? It's your training and movement. It's nutrition habits, rest and recovery, developing a resilient mindset, and shaping a positive environment. So, one of the reasons I'm so proud of you is like, not only you're a doctor with the knowledge, especially over these last 3 years, like you're putting this into practice with yourself. So you have the education, but you actually have the anecdotal, whatever, if I'm saying it right or wrong, you have the actual personal experience that now you can help people even more. If you could use our 5 pillars and basically give a tip in each of those categories to help guide our people today. So starting with training, what would be a tip that you think would be really beneficial?
I feel like it's been said on this podcast, but it's the importance of strength training. Like, as a woman in her 40s, things are happening hormonally. And strength training is just like, there's no doubt. Like, the research is out. It's all over the internet. It's all over social media.
It's the cool thing, finally.
Right?
Yeah.
Women need to strength train. Like, you need to. There's no such thing as, oh, I don't want to get bulky. That's not going to happen, right? We have to strength train. Past the age of 40, we're losing muscle mass, 1% every year. It's women who are breaking hips and dying because we don't have muscle mass, right? So you have to strength train. And I'm not talking about like light weights that you're doing 20 or 30 reps. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about heavy lifting, right? You have to feel that tension. You have to challenge those muscles, because if you're not getting the benefits of it, right? Yep. And when you look at muscle mass and having, like being the building block of a lot of things, muscle mass helps with cardiovascular health. It helps with respiratory health. Like, it helps with so many other symptoms or systems in our body. That
even your brain.
Your brain, yeah, absolutely. So women, we have to be strength training, and at least 3 times a week. I mean, I'm an advocate. I'm 4 days for life. Like, that's what I do.
Tell her not to be here sometimes.
No, I can do 5 because I love it so much. But 4 days for life. Yes, like that's what works for me. And that's what I mean, not just women, but women, I mean, that's who I speak to the most. So I just want to reiterate that, like, we have to be strength training.
Yeah. And these are 2 strong women that I think you guys have both always were active in your life on and on. But when you guys both really transform your health is you change your relationship to strength training. So for anybody, like, specifically our women, which in our program, we got a lot of women that are busy moms and busy career-oriented women. I would say if you're coming from absolutely nothing and you're just you want to get the habit going, hey, 2 days a week can make a big impact in your life. Like, it can make a big impact, especially to your energy levels and your mood. So start there. 3 days a week is often what we get our clients who come to us. We start them 3 days a week. And for a lot of people in their first 90 days, it's a challenge for them, but it's such a rewarding change in their life that they end up losing, 6 to 15 pounds of fat. They feel more energetic. They feel more confident. And then what Nekessa is talking about is our mantra that we have at Training for Warriors. It's 4 days for life. That to me is like the prestige levels. Like, eventually you'll get yourself there that, it doesn't matter if you're on vacation, doesn't matter what's going on with work. Your life is designed that you're going to get your 4 workouts in. And I just really believe that 4 workouts is like a great number, because it's the catalyst to do all the other things that we're just about to talk about. If you're in the gym and you're training 4 days a week, you're probably going to focus on your nutrition a little bit more. You're then going to need to rest and recover, because then you're not going to be able to train 4 days if you can't. And then just the act of working out and being disciplined, that instills a resilient mindset. And then, of course, developing routines and rituals that contributes to your positive environment. So let's go to the next one. Nutrition habits.
So again, women, I guess, but protein, like knowing your macros. I mean, personally, like, I understand how much carbs, fat, and protein I need on a plate, but to keep it simple, especially during busy weeks, I focus on my protein, right? Every meal, I need to make sure that I'm getting my protein. And especially, again, for women, we need protein. Protein has these things called amino acids in it, right? Amino acids are the building block to hormones. So you can't even produce or make hormones if you're not eating enough protein. And then when you look at women too who aren't sleeping well, I've been doing a little bit of research on this. What they find sometimes is you're not sleeping during the night, or you're always getting up at that 2-3 o'clock because your body is actually hungry. Like, you're not eating enough protein to keep you, what's that word, satiated? I struggle. Yeah. Satiated. So if your dinner doesn't have enough protein, it's like, let's say high carbs, you'll feel full for a little bit, but then your blood glucose increases and then you're hungry, right? So you're waking up at the same time every day because you're actually not eating enough protein.
Yeah, that's a common thing. Like, I do a lot of, obviously, the success meetings, and a lot of our women, mid 40s, 50s, it's like, I'm waking up at 2 a.m. and I'm craving something, or I'm just getting up for no reason. And I never really thought about that. That makes a lot of sense. Is you're not getting the nutritional value that maybe your body needs but specifically you're not getting an adequate amount of protein.
Protein, especially, I mean, I believe in starting your day with protein because it will help keep your blood glucose levels steady. And it's when your blood glucose levels kind of go up and down, that's what sometimes can lead to those cravings, right? So making sure that you're getting the protein breakfast, lunch, and dinner, I think can really be helpful. So that's something that I try to focus on is the amount of protein I'm taking.
In simple ways, just so anybody who's watching is like, okay, protein, like, how do I do it? Like, a very simple tool that we use, like this is very popular from Precision Nutrition, is your palm represents a serving size. So for most women, even guys, like really what you're looking at is this palm on average is about 25 grams of protein, right? Very simple, 25 to 30 grams. So in a day, you want to consume 0.8 to 1 gram of your desired body weight. So for example, at one point, believe it or not, Nekessa, when you started this program, you were like 215?
207.
207? You sure? I think I saw it.
207, I swear. It was the same weight I was when I was 8 months pregnant. That's how I know the number.
Oh, no. I think it was...
Cory, I think he checked right before you came.
Okay, 207.
I could have sworn it was 207.
So 207, but her desired body weight, 170, 180, whatever it might have been. So her protein intake, what I would suggest as a coach is I'm taking 0.8 of her desired body weight. So for her, probably more closer to like 150 grams of protein per day is more of a reasonable amount for her. Susie's desired weight, 115, maybe around then. She's more going to consume at least 100 grams of protein per day. But now that we have both of their totals, use your hand, right? So it's just like, okay, well, Nekessa, she's got to have roughly about 5 palms of protein per day. Susie's got to have about 4, and it's an average. But if you can literally focus on distributing those palms of protein onto your plates, like Nekessa said, at first meal, whether it's in the morning, and then second is at lunch, and then dinner, that's a good way to start prioritizing your protein. And I think another step is you just got to know what protein is. So for you, Nekessa, what would be some like go-to options that you use?
So I mean, we should be getting most of our protein from like whole foods, but I do use protein powder. I like it in my smoothies. And that's for me in the mornings, how I get most of my protein is just putting it in my smoothie. And then I don't cook a whole lot, but I
mean, you're not a master chef?
But I do have a partner who is.
Shout out to Chef Jeff.
Yes, Chef Jeff. He does like to barbecue. So I mean, I love chicken of all kinds. Fried chicken, jerk chicken. I love chicken. So usually that's one of my go-tos. It's easy to make. The one thing I do try to do is once a week, though, to have some type of fish. Because again, when we're looking at women, like omega-3, that kind of stuff is really important for brain health and stuff like that. So I do try to have, and it's usually salmon because that's what Jeff likes to make. I have at least once a week, make sure I have some fish.
Good. Hey, so a couple of big points. Chicken is an option. Protein powder to me is one of the best supplements to have. By no means we're saying that shouldn't be like the dominant source of protein, but for a busy professional, Nekessa is often on the go, 4 kids, having 1 to 2 scoops of protein per day is going to help her get to that 150 grams. But yeah, definitely that point about having fish 1 to 2 times a week does a lot for your brain health and just overall. Okay, good. So what would be number 3, rest and recovery?
I guess, well, like we talked about, like the therapy aspect, the physical therapy. I think, again, now that I'm practicing what I preach, I do try to take time to work on my mobility, because I think that's something that, for me personally, if I want to lift heavy, my joints need to be more mobile. And maybe it's just genetic, I don't know, but I just tend to be a little bit stiffer. So I do try to do some mobility work at least once a week, or if I can, I come here a little bit early to make sure that I can take 5 to 10 minutes just to work on that. But I think whether it's through massage, like I said, physio, chiro, just doing something on a monthly basis, just, again, you don't have to have pain, but just to make sure things are moving optimally so that you can, be successful when you're here. So that's huge for me.
And one, so like we talked about this on a previous episode, our belief of the transformation journey. The third phase, we call it warrior build. Because you're so focused on strength and performance, and that's changing your health and your body, exactly what she just said right there is like your mobility, right? Like having certain routines that you're doing becomes even that much more important. In the beginning, kind of like the process is like, ugh, I got to warm up. This is hard and awkward and I'm sweating. Then it's like, I got to work out. And then it's like, yeah, I like working out. Oh, yeah, I love training. And then you get into the training, but what allows you to train better is a really good warm-up routine, but also specific little mobility or prehab exercises that address certain issues. So like what Nekessa already said, it might be you have rotator cuff stuff that you got to do, right? It might be tight hips, it might be tight ankles. These are things that are going to be really, really important for you to understand what are your one or two drills that you focus on that allows you to train in the style that, especially with strength training, allows you to keep lifting and do those things. Because there's nothing worse than trying to go heavier, but you don't have the mobility and the flexibility, or you're in pain because of certain positions. Number 4 is resilient mindset. So to me, these are always the ones that people don't think about when it comes to transformation.
Yeah.
Mindset and environment. Hey guys, hope you guys are enjoying the episode so far. This is part 1 of 2. So make sure you finish watching this episode. You'll see it next week or the next video that comes up on the channel. We look forward to having more amazing podcasts and providing you guys lots of value. Beastie!